and Islam.
Os instrumentos.
Como os utensílios que estão aqui, sim.
Estão aqui. Dizer que é isto,
o que representa, sim, a sua função.
Mas mostrar por os frascos.
Sim.
Ok.
Não precisa um por um, pode ser...
Por todos.
Sim.
Assim, ajuda as pessoas quando vêm sentir o corpo, já assim. Dói, mas ele não sabe o que é que tens, o que é que está a sentir, essa doença que ele tem. Então, primeiro, eu junto aquele medicamento na água para ele tomar banho. Porque isto, aqui ele dizer assim, estou a sentir isto, mas aquilo, enquanto há as pessoas que odeiam a vida dele. Ali tem espírito mau no corpo. Então, para tirar esse espírito mau,
in the water when someone feels pain, and then I take this and mix in the water for him to take a bath. So then, if there is a bad evil spirit inside his body, it comes out and he becomes healed.
Traditional beliefs based on the idea that all living things have a spiritual life dominate, while there are also strong beliefs that the spirits of ancestors influence daily life.
When we talk about our departed ones, this is part of our tradition. So rather than saying everything is wrong, I think we need to see what is good and baptize it, include it in our spirituality.
Veneration of ancestors plays an important role in traditional customs, as do the traditional healers or spiritualists who are consulted for healing, luck, and solutions to medical problems.
Para loko silo siyala mabandi lambe bafa wena bapaleta
estás a ver esses dois frascos?
Those two bottles.
Tem remédio que metendo na água para banho, né? Se não ter sorte ou quer, serve para depois ter muita sorte depois do banho.
There is some medicine which we put in the water and then we take a bath. For those people who are not lucky, if you want good luck.
O tipo de doença, mais ou menos, a pessoa pode vir e sentir mais ou menos parte de... Pode vir sentir dor de barrigas, não sei o quê. Então, às vezes, ele não come bem.
The kind of sicknesses that people usually bring here is like stomach ache and whole body. People feel pain.
Catholicism was first introduced into Mozambique by the Portuguese during the early trade period between the 15th and 16th centuries. By the end of the 19th century, the period of the Portuguese conquest in Mozambique, the Catholic missions had been well established and were in good ties with the state. Today, Catholics make up 24% of the population in Mozambique, which is roughly said to be around 5 million people, making them the largest religious group in the country. During the civil crisis, Protestant churches participated in the distribution of food, clothing, seeds, and medicines to the war-torn countryside, a role they still play at some degree even
health
today.
Matters like malaria, it has been one of our major issues to face. Involvement in the peacemaking, the consolidation of peace in the country.
Today, 22% of Mozambicans practice some form of Protestantism, and it represents numerous denominations within Christianity and generally denotes all non-Roman Catholic variations, including Methodist, Zionist, Assemblies of God, and Anglican churches. Islam was introduced to Mozambique out of commercial relationships that formed between Arab merchants and African chieftains. More specifically, the Arab merchants formed relationships with the Shirazi rulers of Mozambique. Islam grew on the northern coast and in the hinterland areas out of the alliances formed from trading of atoms between Arab merchants and Shirazi rulers. In an effort to separate the church and state, the post-colonial government banned religious teachings in schools, nationalized religious institutions, and persecuted religious leaders. Although one can argue that despite this position, the effect of religion can be felt through its different teachings for each congregation and advocacy for the nation as a whole. While some believe it is not the duty of the church to participate in politics or political affairs, others believe that the role of religion is to promote not only salvation but social economic justice for its brethren.
We also look at the church and politics, you know, and that is very normal to deal with. Let me say that in my understanding, when you think about what are you going to eat tomorrow or what your people are going to eat tomorrow, you are already doing politics. What we don't do is party politics. You know, we don't direct people to become members of a given party because we think that that party is the best or whatever. As churches don't do that, but it is up to people to look at what is good for them in terms of politics. But thinking about those things, interacting and questioning, being like for instance being part of the electoral observatory and observe, monitor elections in a country, that is to be involved in one way or another into issues of politics.
Well, if you read the New Testament, you can't but be a political human being. The people should go and vote, that is political. But eating is a very political act, because you are saying, I have a contribution to make in society, and in order to keep alive, in order to be able to participate, I have to keep myself alive. So we are all political beings, but only some get involved in political parties.
Based on our research, it is obvious that democracy in the West cannot be an easily transferable system of government to Mozambique. Considering the variety of ethnicities, languages, formal education, exposure to the outside world, and also the general absence of legally defined structures of governance, we realized what many Africans have been saying all along. A Western style of democracy is almost impractical in Africa. In a November 1999 conference paper, Robert Woodbury, director of the Project on Religion and Economic Change, attempted correlations between Protestantism, Catholicism, and Islam on one hand and democracy on the other hand. Woodbury found a strong positive association between the percentage of Protestantism in the society and the level of democratization. There was a negative relationship between Islam and democracy. The relationship between Catholicism and democracy was more complex. But Woodbury found that societies with indigenous religions are the least likely to be democratic. We end this presentation with what we believe to be a very profound question raised by Woodbury's observation. Is democracy in Africa just a Christian project designed to legitimize the power of Christians and especially Protestants who alone understand it? Or can there develop an African understanding of democracy that effectively draws on the communal values expressed in African traditional religion, as well as on the moral and spiritual transformations wrought by evangelicals? It appeared to us that the latter is the goal of many Mozambicans. But can democracy change all that? With the power now invested in the people, does much of the responsibility of social and economic change lie in their hands? Can religion only serve as a catalyst in making sure that the people utilize the power imposed upon them by democracy? These are questions that we seek to address in further research.